Hi, I'm Liz, or Elizabeth, and we are experimenting with pouring paint. So we'll go ahead and get started. Go ahead.
So I am Emma, and she is my mother. And so is what we did first to get prepared is we put cardboard all over the table so we didn't get paint on the table. And then is what we did is we put plastic bag, just plastic underneath what we're using to paint the canvas with over. And then we already based the canvas with white paint.
So you can show them the canvas so they can see what the canvas looks like. See, we just put some white. You can kind of see some lines. Normally we would try to get the lines out, but we didn't this time just because we're just doing an experiment.
Yes. But they say we need to cover the whole canvas in white paint or else it won't turn out as good as it's supposed to.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started on mixing our paint. So we have a little cup here that we're going to fill with paint, and then we're going to put it on our canvas, and we'll show you how in a minute. Okay, Emma, what color would you like? How about a base with white?
Okay.
Can you see the cup? Put the cup right down here. You want a whole bunch of base. Alright, what colors would you like? The pinks or the blues?
How about we take turns with the pink and the blue?
So Can I sit down for this part? Yes. So I'm going to start with what they call raspberry. It's this really pretty pink. So we're going to give this a little bit in here. Just like this. Now remember, when you're pouring it in there, it does make a difference on how high or low you do it, creating bubbles in your paint.
And I will be using the color called
Blue.
Blue. It's just plain blue. And don't forget that it is very important to make sure you have the order of color that you want, or else it won't turn out
Properly.
Yeah.
Now we're going to add a little bit of this, what they call Cell Magic. It's silicone, to add a little more live cells. So we just do a couple drops here because we don't need a lot of this.
It's very strong compared to the paint.
Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of this color. It's called Orchard. And if you want to see, it's like a maroon color. It's really pretty. So I'm just going to drip some in here. And then I'm going to go to the side so it doesn't mix as much. Alright, your turn, Miss Emma.
And I will be using this blue called Ocean. I'm going to do the same thing as my mom did, go a little over to the side so it doesn't mix as much.
Alright, and then we're going to add a little more of this base white just because I want to make sure we have enough white to compare with the other colors. Alright, and then I'm going to add a little bit of this pink, I think. This is called Sorbet. This is a little bit lighter, and this one I'm going to put in with a little bit of design. You gotta be able to see. So putting it in the design so it kind of goes on the canvas a little bit different. So now I want you to add a little bit of silicone.
I will be adding a little bit more of the silicone, with just a couple drops.
Comes out fast.
And then I will be using this blue called Sky. I actually think it's a very pretty blue. And like my mom did, add a little bit of design.
Alright, and I have one more shade of pink I'm going to add, and this is called Ballet. It's really light, pretty. It's almost like a baby pink. And we're just going to do this in a circle.
Now I will be using the last blue. It's kind of like a turquoise blue, and it is called Sage. And I am just actually I'm not going to be doing circles. I am just going to be doing lines.
I might have to use a pencil to pop out. There you go. Blue. Let me see. Sorry, guys, a little malfunction here.
Do you want me to cover this part?
No, it's okay. All right, there you go.
Well, like I said, I'm just going to be doing a couple lines.
Arrow on the white.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Then we're going to be adding a little bit more.
Just a little more, because I want to add a little
Yeah.
more blues in here.
Yeah, so just a little bit more, so it's not overpowering, but it's not nowhere to be seen.
And then I'm just going to add a little bit of blue here, and a little bit here, and a little bit over here, just so we have little areas.
And I will be doing with the pink, this raspberry pink.
All right, and you think that's enough after that?
Yep.
All right, now what we're going to do, we're doing the flip technique. So we're just going to take the cup and our canvas, and we're going to flip it on, and then we're going to let it sit till all the paint drips out. All right, Emma. So we're going to, first we're going to take our canvas, and we're going to put it on top of our cup. Hold where the cup is here, right here, and go ahead and flip it, nice and even. All right, and now we're just going to let this drip out. Hopefully, does okay here. As we're waiting for that to drip down, we're just going to take our little brush here, and we're going to get the sides here just so that we have full coverage. And this helps it to stop from overlapping itself. Alright, going to give it a good little tap on there. Make sure we get it all in there. Alright, and if you want to release it and see what it looks like, give it, it's stuck. Kind of swirl.
Oh, that actually looks
Alright, so then you take your cup and kind of get on the corners.
So then that way it seals the corners. And then we're just going to let that flow around. But you want to really make sure you get the corners good, so then, because the corners and the sides are kind of like the ceiling.
So now we're just wait.
Yep.
Can you pause it? Okay, so now that we have all of our paint on here,
We did add a little bit more silicone to the
you can kind of
corners.
see a couple spots, and I'm going to add a little more with you guys watching, just so you can kind of see what it does to the paint here. So we're just going to do a little drop here. And you see how it instantly starts forming these cells. And I'm going to do a little bit, I guess, up here. Is there a spot you want to add some cells, Emma?
Maybe like over here. Yeah, right there. That might be really
So
good.
this spot is really dark, and we really like it. So we're going to add a couple drops here for some cells. All right, and now what we're going to do, we're going to do a tilting technique to kind of get it to flow over the entire canvas.
And that way we aren't waiting for hours.
So I like this spot the most and this spot. So I'd like
Yeah.
to keep those as big as possible, just so we do. We're going to tilt it up this way slowly, because we don't want to take too much away from the painting.
Exactly.
So when you do this, you go right till it starts to get to the edge.
Like,
And then we're
starts
gonna-
coming off, because then, you know, that's when you want to stop.
And then we're going to bring it back a little bit more to the center to go to the next area. Oh, I thought it didn't go as far as I thought it was. Alright. Then we're going to bring it back this way a little bit so we get back to the recenter. And then we're going to go to the far corner over here. So we're going to kind of tilt it this way, just so it starts going to that side. I know it's pretty hard to see, so... Let's kind of tilt it and let it kind of flow a little bit and see what happens. As it spreads out our cells and it spreads out the paint. corner, okay? And then we're just gonna, instead of going right to the center, I wanna just kind of bring it over this way and spread that color out a little bit.
It's dripping.
It's supposed to drip.
So as you can see, as we're tilting it, you can see the cells getting bigger and more noticeable. So that's really good. And no, not yet. A little bit more.
Tiny bit.
Not quite.
Okay. Now I'm gonna bring it back this way. Now I'm starting to really like this cell right here.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of like those flowers that eat insects.
Kind of reminds me of like a dinosaur, because if you guys look carefully over there, it kind of got the head shape of a dinosaur, kind of.
Like snake dinosaur.
Yeah.
Okay, get that kind of off the corner a little bit. Then we have one more corner to get. And we'll kind of move our canvas so you can kind of see what we're doing here. So we're gonna kind of bring it this way.
I'm really liking this so far.
Kind of looks like a brain.
Not really. Kind of looks like a
So you,
brain.
I'll show you in 1 second how we can tell the difference on how we put the paint in.
Yeah.
Now normally when you do this, you wear gloves.
But we didn't have any.
I forgot to grab some, so that's my fault. So you can kind of see here, like right in here, we put the lines. This is where we kind of went like this with the squiggles. And then like in here, this is where we kind of added some circles. So normally what people do at this point is they start popping the bubbles. I don't have a torch, so I'm going to try a lighter and see if that helps.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there and see what happens. So give me 1 second to wash my hands, and I'll come back with a lighter.
Don't pop it. Okay.
All right, so we're back. We just have this lighter. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna give it a whirl. So
I really see some
started.
air bubbles over.
Just gonna kind of come close here.
But not too close.
Whoa. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but if you look closely, it is actually popping the bubbles that with the light, because the light is heating the bubbles down and it's causing the other paint to come in on where those bubbles were. See that? They're kind of gone now.
Actually, is what it's doing is the heat is pushing the bubbles out. So it's like if you have a little brother or a little sister, it's kind of like you just like pushing them away.
Yeah.
If you listen closely, I think I hear bubbles
Fire?
popping or something.
Okay, let's be quiet and listen. Do you guys hear that? Sounds cool, doesn't it?
All right, so I think that's as good as we're gonna get. Just because I don't know how many more bubbles there are. I'm gonna touch a spot because I did touch it with a lighter on accident. And I do want to do another little experiment and see if we add silicone now. See if it adds a few more rings in here. I'm gonna add some up here. Just a drop here. Come on. And a drop here. Mm-hmm. Alright, so I added 4 drops, now Emma's going to add 4 drops, and then we're going to just kind of see what it does, and then we'll get a close-up and see what happens.
Hopefully I
Alright, so I'm going to add a little bit of heat to those spots just to kind of bring them out a little bit. And see if that helps with the cells here.
I hope it does.
Oh, you kind of see this one. It's kind of pulling up a little bit on where we added the silicone. I'm getting some color through there.
It reminds me of lighting a colorful birthday cake.
All right. Now we're just going to get a nice little close-up just so you guys can see kind of some of the cells. Next time we'll try to add a little more to it so then we can get a little bit more out of it. But right now this is our first one. I don't think it turned out too bad. So we're going to just go ahead and finish up here and we're going to say bye. And see you next time.